All right. I'm trying to intro it. We'll see how it goes. Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to Wowhead Weekly number 101, 102. I don't even know what number we're on anymore. Over 100. It's been a lot of shows. So we have a lot to talk about today. Tons of holiday stuff with patch 7.1.5 on the horizon. But before we get into all of that, I would like to introduce my lovely co-host, Wowhead Site Manager, Perculia.
Hey everyone, 7.1.5 has tons of stuff to discuss, and it's also Pilgrim's Bounty and Black Friday with merchandise, including a cute little thing with Pepe coming, and it's the 12th anniversary. And there are lots of things going on. Just as a reminder, if you have anything interesting or want anything you want clarified, if you message SAS148, he will collect questions and then he will give them to us and we will answer them for you at the end. So if you want something explained with the PTR or something doesn't make sense or you don't know how to get the corgi pet, we will answer all those questions.
We will do our best.
Yep.
We will do our best. So the 7.1.5 PTR started, and just to kind of catch up those of you who may not be aware, 7.1.5 is going to be our first official, small patch in World of Warcraft, because it is a content patch, but it's not going to be bringing with it the average amount of content that you expect.
Yeah, there's no raid that's part of it.
Yeah, there's no raid, which is fine, because they did say that they don't want any content patches specifically tied with raids anymore. But we will see these new micro holidays as well as Mists of Pandaria timewalking, some additions, and the return of the Brawler skill.
Yeah.
Some stuff with professions and legendaries and just all sorts of little updates here and there without
Yeah,
adding
they're little,
like
but I think they add meaning to the world.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not like, oh, selfie camera. It's like, oh, it's like a holiday that makes you want to log in.
The micro holidays are super cool, and I think that's the first thing we're going to talk about today. So
yeah,
the micro holidays in 7.1.5 aren't going to be like your typical holidays that you think about now, like Winterveil, which is like Christmas, or Hallow's End, which is like Halloween, or Lunar Festival, which is like the Chinese New Year. Instead, we're going to see holidays that are smaller, and they celebrate in-game events as opposed to real-world events. And they may be inspired by real-world events, but they're still Azeroth-based, and these won't be part of any sort of meta achievement. It's not about completionism or anything like that.
There's no big mount or anything with them. You just sort of do them for the most part.
Yeah, they're just supposed to be fun.
Rewards.
They're just supposed to be fun, short experiences. I think the first time that we're going to see is the Call of the Scarab, which is basically AQ Remembrance Day, right?
Yeah. So in that one, both factions are going to race to earn credit for the war effort, which is very reminiscent of how the gates were opened in the first place, 12 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And whoever wins has their faction flag by the Scarab Gong. And based on the data mining, it looks like you'll turn in all sorts of low-level reagents like linen cloth and like boar meat to NPCs again.
Yeah.
And you can also do the whole summoning routine with the Twilight Cultist and like the Dukes and the Abyssals in Silithus as well, which was cool because Cataclysm broke all of that, and now you can become a Twilight Cultist again and do all that fun, elaborate summoning. Just for those few days.
Yeah, and don't worry to any of you guys who happen to have that black scarab mount that, doesn't really exist, but it allegedly exists. They're not going to be giving them away. They're not recoloring it or anything like that. This is an event to kind of teach players who maybe weren't around during AQ, what that was all about, and to have some nice reminiscent nostalgia type things for people who were around. Some of the events aren't as, I don't want to say intense, but some of them aren't as intense as the AQ one. We'll also have a tavern crawl, which basically will open a bunch of mage portals that'll take you from different inns and taverns all over the world, so that you can do a bar crawl in game, which I love the idea of this. I could see a bunch of streamers doing this together and then having different drinks in real life, and I feel like that could be such a fun community thing to do, or something that your guild could do together.
That idea. Yeah.
Anything that involves drinking and snacks, I'm there. I'm there, so I thought that was
and
really
you get cool hats as well. There was a bunch of spells called Tavern Finery, and one of them even had the graphic for the rhinestone sunglasses.
Oh, that's great.
So it's you do your crawl, and then there's even a spell called I lost my hat or something along that effect. So it's the lost and found for all your cool hats.
That's gonna be really fun.
Yeah.
That's going to be really fun. They also have the hatching of the hippogriffs, which...
Pepe likes this one.
Yes, this is so cute. So apparently in World of Warcraft lore, hippogriffs only hatch once a year. It's not like they're being born all over the place. Like, it's a very instinctual and timed thing. So all of them hatch at once, and we're going to be celebrating that in World of Warcraft. You'll be able to incubate your own little... Oh, excuse me. Oh, excuse me. You'll be able to incubate your own little hippogriff egg, and you'll also maybe be able to have a little baby hippogriff on your shoulder. Doesn't Pepe get a hippogriff costume?
No, but that would be so cute. People, like, the only Pepe thing was people saying that the hippogriff on your shoulder was, like, similar to how Pepe acts on your head.
So I feel like when we were in our art interview, he, like, offhandedly was, like, the Pepe hippogriff costume.
Oh, I mean, he made jokes about Pepe because we're like, he's like, oh, what was your favorite model? I need to listen to the video again. But
I feel like
I want a Pepe Boomkin.
That there was going to be oh my gosh, yes. Yes, that would be so good. Well, and now that we've seen like Pepe and Overwatch with Bastion, I feel like there's so many opportunities for birds to be Pepe and just improve themselves. But yeah, I thought that was pretty adorable. Then we also have the March of the Tadpoles, which is to help baby murlocs migrate out of the Borean Tundra or into the Borean Tundra.
Yeah, if you've done any of the questing in Borean Tundra, like, this is a good opportunity to go back and do it if you haven't. There's this area where you actually get to help the Murlocs, the Winterfin, and there's all these little babies. And, yeah, it can add to the lore, and if you didn't play during Wrath of the Lich King, you probably didn't do that quest line, so, you know, you can do some questing now. That's kind
of a cool way to get. I never really thought about it in that way, like how many people hadn't really done those quests, and like...
Yeah.
Because you can skip so much leveling up these days.
I know, with heirlooms and the boosts now, like, this is a good way to encourage people to do the older content.
Yep, then there's also Volunteer Guard Day, which will allow you to salute a city guard, and you'll get a disguise and be a city guard for a little while, so you're basically getting to relieve them of their duties, which is awful nice of you.
And then you get to, like, slay city invaders, apparently, because the buff has something like, oh, you know, tally of city invaders slain. So
that's fun.
Yeah.
That's fun.
That would be cool.
Then there's the Spring Balloon Festival, which will allow you to actually, it sounds like you get to ride in hot air balloons all over the world.
Yeah, there was a bunch of spells being like summon balloon Azuna, summon balloon, you know, Uldum, you know, lore workers chose balloon, so-and-so's balloon, and there's even this spell, it was something like, you know, like, oh, this goblin on the balloon needs to go, you make significant eye contact with the other people on the balloon, so if you throw someone out of the balloon,
that is ridiculous. I hope that the balloons are not phased. I hope that everybody can see everyone else's balloons so that you could, like, take screenshots with a bunch of balloons like, in the sky and stuff. I would really like that. So... yeah, then there's also the Glowcap Festival, which is about Sporgar and Zangarmarsh, which, as somebody who was sort of, my biggest obsession with WoW was during Burning Crusade, I loved Zangarmarsh because it was so pretty and didn't look like anywhere else, so I'm excited to see
all the greens and blues were relaxing. And the Sporgar faction, they're very, like, you know, off-kilter. They've got their gigantic mushrooms and their hibiscus they like, and they've got the funny-looking tabard, and... you know, their rewards are all kind of, like, weird and mushroomy sounding. And, apparently there's, like, they're, like, celebrating the big glow cap, and I think you have to defend it during the festival. So, I mean, that's another cool faction that if you weren't playing in early WoW, you might not have thought
you might not even know about it at all,
Yeah.
And then there is the 1,000 Boat Bash,
this sounds so cool.
Oh my god, I knew there would be goblins involved. I said it when I saw that it was a boat thing. I'm like, goblins are going to be involved in this. And what do you know? 1,000 Needles. Goblins are totally going to be there, but you can build your own ship, and then you just kind of go hang out on a boat. And if I had to guess...
there's even a buff being like, oh, Regatta, like, you know, a bunch of you have boats, and they're partying together.
That's amazing.
And there's, like, first mate so-and-so, and captain, you know, gnome captain, and goblins. There's lots of things. Fireworks, celebrations.
I feel like the end of this is going to be, like, your goblin boat is going to blow up because it was crappily made by goblins. Like, I'm telling you, I feel like this is how that's going to end. And then the last one that we know about so far is Ungoro Madness, which is all about dinosaurs.
Yeah, and if you liked Dodonga from Ungoro before Cataclysm, there is an undead version of that dinosaur in the data, so maybe she's making a return.
Do you think you'll be able to tame that?
I don't know. I mean, it's classified as an undead, but I just think people would like to see her again for closure because, you know, she died in the middle of the Cataclysm and her grave is there, and that's very sad. So.
It is sad.
Yeah.
It is sad. In other holiday news, there's a bunch of holidays that are getting little updates. Like there's going to be some new items for Love is in the Air and Winter Veil, which we've showed you before. But this week we data mined.
This is real. This is really fun.
You data
it is
mined.
so much
I had nothing to do with it. Somebody data mined, not me. A new Lunar Festival Dragon costume toy. But what's interesting about this is that there's 3 different costumes. There's the head, the tail, and the body. So
yeah.
This is amazing because I feel like you could really get like 25 people to be the body.
Exactly.
It's going to be so
You could just
good.
have a conga line, or you could have the 25 people just like form a circle that's just the body. Or like
I wonder if you could wear the fruit basket and the dragon head at the same time so that you could force people to get in your dragon Congo line.
That would be cool. That would be awesome.
This is hilarious and amazing, and I feel like you've seen people do like the gnome marches or the woolly mammoth marches. Like this
or like your fish feast stacked up in a line.
Yeah, this is going to be in Dalaran. There's going to be a full circle with one head and one tail, and everybody else is just bodies.
Or they'll like spell out words.
So good. This is the most ridiculous costume that Blizzard has ever come up with. I can't wait to get it. I hope I get the butt. I hope I get to be the butt.
You can buy all 3, I think, with lunar coins, but they're like
buying the butt.
There's only a certain amount of elders, so there's not like infinite coins.
I'm gonna get so many coins, and I'm gonna actually. You know what's funny is unless they took them away, I have so many elder coins from last year because I did that launcher guide for Wowhead. And I had to do it on like multiple characters to get some of the items, so I still have a bunch of coins banked on like a bunch of random alts. So who knows? Maybe I'll have enough and won't have to do anything. But also coming in 7.1.5 is Mists of Pandaria Timewalking, and they're all actual Pandaria dungeons, not like Skolamance or any of the remakes.
I feel that last show we were speculating on which ones would be included or like what mounts were like pets we thought would be coming, and I'm really happy with the rewards.
The rewards are awesome. So you'll, of course, get time warp badges for doing time walking. And there's some new time warped rewards because, with new stuff. And there's 2 different pets. There's this little guy who reminds me of an elemental. And then another little onyx dragon hatchling. And then the heavenly jade cloud serpent.
Yeah, and I'm really excited about the pets because this is the first time we've had time walking pets. Usually you just get like a mount and a toy.
Which makes me wonder if they're going to add pets in for the old ones.
Yeah. Also, the Heavenly Jade Cloud Serpent is a funny story, and it's sort of like why you can't ever count out something as being gone from the game because it was added to the game files like years ago in Mists of Pandaria, and it wasn't obtainable. Mm-hmm. And, now Blizzard found a use for it. So
well, that's what they did with the other mounts, too. Like, they've been doing that a lot this expansion. Like, oh, what's a long-lost mount? We'll make it a thing.
Yeah. So, if you're sad and you're like, oh, I wonder if this will ever make it into the game, it might just will.
Well, Chris Robinson said in our interview at BlizzCon that they have so many things in the game, and it's just a matter of, like, finding a right time and reason to put it in the game, which I think is really cool, knowing that...
He was saying that, like, the artists always do alternate colors of things, and a developer will be like, you have all these colors. Like, how can we use all of them in different ways in our game? Let's find a way. Let's not have it go to waste.
I feel like we're seeing so much more of that now, especially with the artifacts. And he said there was like a vault of pets. Guys, there's a vault of pets. This is a real thing. Apparently, the artists at Blizzard will just be bored and they'll make a brand new pet and be like, oh, look, I created this cute little pet, which my Pepe is Santa right now because he's going to be my tree topper again. So he's getting in this season. But they'll just be like, oh, I created this cute little pet. But if there's no reason to put it in game yet, it goes in this vault of like, this is a new pet we haven't found a use for yet. So like, somewhere at Blizzard, there's like a humane society of digital pets that we need to find. We need to adopt them, guys. We need to adopt all of them. I did not cut my hair. It's there. It's just in braids because I'm lazy. Don't worry. Not again.
Speaking of adopting things, one of the other.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize that. That's so funny. Go ahead.
One of the other items you can get with Time Warp badges is the adopted crate of puppies.
Yes.
And if you think that sounds familiar, that's because there was a kidnap crate of puppies from a Mist of Pandaria rare, and it would summon pugs, and they all had cute little things like bows and pirate hats.
Of course they did.
That was like the precursor to Pepe with his disguises.
That's amazing. I need to get my permanent Pepe. I'm like 3/4 of the way done with the achievement, I think. I think I did all the ones that didn't require rating. like all the dungeons and stuff I did, and then I did all the easy raid ones, but I haven't done the difficult raid ones yet because at the time I was actually raiding mythic, so I couldn't just do it in my guild. Like I couldn't just run in with Pepe. Like we were going to wipe. That's how this works. So I need to go back and do that now that it's something I could do with a group of like 5 or 6 people and all of us get Pepes, because the amount of times I go to my garrison just to get a Pepe is like, it's painful, really.
I know. Well, he's keeping Warlords relevant. Good job, Pepe.
That's the only thing. Oh, wait! So, also, I think this is cool, too. In Miss Pandaria Time Walking, you'll also be able to get a toy that's a portable yak wash.
Yeah, and if you don't know the story behind that,
that's that
in
quest,
Kunlai
right?
Summit, it's a quest.
In the gates.
Yeah, and like there's like an actual yak wash, and you put the yaks through the smelly yaks, and they come out and they sparkle. So now you have a yak wash.
It's so good. I wish I could wash my actual yak mount.
That would be cute. You could have an item to make it sparkle.
That'd be good. I mean, I already have the ones that make your pet do that, but I wish I could clean my yak. That would be great. Also coming in 7.1.5 is the Brawlers Guild is coming back. Are you guys so friggin' excited?
Yeah, I love the names of these bosses that are coming. So
they're so good.
Yeah, so as usual, there's ranks 1 through 8, and then there are challenge cards that you can buy at different levels for additional bosses, and some of them, when you defeat them, even reward special shirts. And there are some really funny ones. Like we heard in our interview with Chris Robinson that Brawlers Guild has the wildest, funniest combinations of things that sort of push the boundaries of what the world of Azeroth and the culture is.
Yeah.
And the challenge cards include Ogre Watch, the Beatbox, and a Seagull.
A Seagull! So good. I love that this has become...
the Fury of Gul'dan ability.
So good. So my favorite thing ever was when they did that promotion for Dungeon Weekend, and it was the guy getting attacked by a seagull. Like, somebody... Like, I love that people at Blizzard, and it's funny because this is a true story. So my sister went to BlizzCon this year, and I was able to, like, finagle her a tour at Blizzard. And one of the things that they were talking about when we were taking the tour is that, like, when people work at Blizzard, they kind of have to drink the Blizzard Kool-Aid. Like, you can't be a non-Blizzard fan and work for Blizzard. It's just it just wouldn't work. It just would never work. So everybody who works at Blizzard are genuinely all fans of the games that they're working on. So it's hilarious to me that there's this running joke in the community about the seagulls being the true bosses in Eye of Ajara, and then, like, you see this artist who's someone's job is to make a promotional image, and he makes a seagull attacking someone, and then you've got a different guy over here doing Brawlers Guilds making a seagull a boss. Like, I love that, like, they're in on the same jokes that we are. This isn't like something where the community is removed from the developers. Like, they're also a part of the community, and it's so apparent when you see things like a seagull being a boss in the Brawlers
and its official's name is like a seagull, and then brackets like the real end boss.
The real end boss.
Yeah, they're in on the joke.
So good.
I think there needs to be a Brawler's Pepe who's friends with the seagull.
You know what else would be cute is if they had just Pepe sitting on someone's head.
Yeah, no, I like Pepe's observing the fight, and like maybe as the repair builds add up and people wipe, like Pepe gets bigger, or like his perch like accumulates more gold and he's just collecting all the repair costs.
Have you seen Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them?
No, I haven't.
You need to see that movie. You would love it. There's all these little creatures, and one of them reminds me of the type of animal that you would love. He's like this little platypus guy, so he's sort of like a duck-ish. He's duck-ish, but he steals from everybody constantly. So, like, he breaks into a jewelry store and, like, steals diamonds, and he's got a pouch, and at one point they turn him upside down and shaking him, and there's just piles of, like, diamonds and coins. And it reminded me very much of, like, when I saw that, I was like, Perk would love that little guy. Because he's just naughty and the best. But anyways, so lots of stuff coming with the Brawlers Guild. I'm going to let you talk a little bit about that. I've got a slideshow of a bunch of the new rewards.
All right. Yeah, so there's also new Brawlers Gold currency coming, and this was inspired by Blizzard seeing people, they would just be chilling in the queue and buffing each other to help them out, so Blizzard's like, how can we take this to the next level? So you can get gold, this currency, by defeating bosses and at special things like maybe an event will pop up where you can bet on who wins, and if you win, you get more gold. And you can spend this on Rumble cards, which are raid-like encounters which pull everyone from the queue into combat, as well as these buffs, which can do fun things like add a graveyard or open up the VIP area, or, like I said, lets you bet on who wins an encounter for more gold, and there's an achievement if you have a big winning streak. And then also some new rewards included the Rockspine Basilisk mount, the Tyler Grondin pet, And then new shirts for defeating some of the
Do I
special
not
bosses.
get that? Should I get that reference?
It's a Fight Club reference.
Oh frick! I probably should get. That's my husband's favorite movie. I'm honestly, I'm ashamed of myself. I'm sorry.
Aw. And as you saw in the slideshow, there were some shirts for special bosses, including a Pokemon themed shirt called The Very Best, and another one called Dub Vest, which is obviously from the Beatbox encounter.
So,
So yeah, and yeah, I'm
that
super
mount is
excited to see.
creepy looking. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Did you see
Okay.
it walk? It's got 6 legs and they move like
Yep.
centipede. Oh, I don't even like
Yep.
why. It looks like a giant bug. Like it looks like very bug-like. I don't
Brawler's
like
Guild
it.
is pretty out there, so
If it doesn't surprise me at all. Yeah, it's funny because I never realized that. Do all basilisks have 6 legs, or do some of them only have 4?
I'm not sure, but I mean they kind of walk in a funny way because they're like meant to turn you into stone, and they sort of walk slowly and
I never
stare
realized they
and
had 6 legs
settle
until
you.
I was watching that video of it walking,
Oh.
and I was like, it was making my skin crawl. I had to like turn it off. It was something.
Oh no!
There was something super
Oh.
creepy. It reminded me of like bugs, like just a specific, like a big ass bug. I had to. Ugh, I didn't like it at all. Wow, there's so much stuff coming in 7.1 profession stuff too.
I know.
Can I skip to Trashy and can we talk about everything else after?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
So
yeah, we can do
I'm
Trashy.
super excited about this because I've been fishing. I always have been someone who kept up on fishing. I don't have the artifact yet because I have no time in my life, but someday I'll have a couple days to devote to finishing up getting the artifact. But one of my favorite things is when you go to the little island to get your lures, there's this freaking raccoon.
I know, he's so cute.
He's so mischievous. Like, I think it's a she. I don't know why. But she just runs around and she goes in the water and she, like, goes up on the house. And sometimes she'll get up on 2 legs and, like, growl at you. And, like, she's a wild beast. And her name is Trashy. And she's a little raccoon. And she will be available as a pet once you become best friends with Conjurer Margos. And I'm
pulling up some more
Trashy.
details on her. So
She's so cute.
her like little like tag text is, "How do you kill that which lives in garbage?" And she will cost 50 of the drowned mana, and even has a few abilities that have unique names. Like she'll have one called Family Reunion, which gathers Trashy's family. And then something called a Dumpster Dive, which where you leap up high and become unattackable for 1 round. So they're having fun giving her, a personality.
Yeah. Oh my god, no, it's so cute. And this is another one too. This was like a post. I don't know if it was on like Imgur or Reddit or whatever, but there was a post about like alternate names for animals, and they had a raccoon and they called it a trash panda.
Aw.
So like I feel like that's where that came from too. But Trashy's the best. She's so cute. Okay, we can talk about all other professions now. I got excited.
All right. So, if you want, by the way, if you want to like read up on all these things, we have like daily post recapping different topics as well as like our spell data roundup and item data roundup. But
Also, I see that there's a whole bunch of you guys watching right now. Thank you so much for coming and joining us on this weird random Monday. We appreciate it.
Yeah, maybe we should consider more Mondays.
Oh god.
But yeah.
Maybe we should consider eliminating Mondays from the calendar.
No, we would keep being like, oh, we should, Fridays.
I
like,
know, we keep saying that, and then I know. It's so hard. We're so bad at timing things. Anyways, professions.
Yeah. So, there are some recipes that were lost over the years from blacksmithing or returning. So, for example, if a recipe was a rare drop in a zone and then Cataclysm removed that mob, or back in the day, blacksmithing had all these variations for like weaponsmiths and armor smiths, and they got rid of that, and then some recipes just vanished. So they're coming back, and a lot of the data points to some quests you'll have to do, like classic style quests where you like go to Searing Gorge and you kill a bunch of mobs until you get some, old sounding funny diamond. And yeah, I think that's a very kind of fun, clever way to add them back. The Obliterum cap is raised to eye level 865. You can upgrade your gear 10 times. There are new cheaper enchants for all secondary stats on the usual item slots. There's been some reagent changes for the Trial of Valor Vantus runes. And as you mentioned, there's also Trashy, and then there are some new engineering recipes as well, including boom, which let me pull up exactly what that does again.
Thought we were losing you there for a second, but you're okay.
Okay, you can hear me now?
Yes, it was a moment where you got a little bit like a broken record, but you're fine now.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, there's also Boon of the Zookeeper as well, and that is related to battle pets. And
What do you think that does? Do you think it lets you have more than one pet out at a time? Does it say what it does?
It's pet charms. One sec.
It must be a shoulder thing that gives you, or gloves or something.
Yeah,
okay.
They're both shoulder enchants.
Well,
I'm still figuring out what Boon of the Builder actually does. Because I'm blanking on that. One sec.
Okay.
Okay, so Boon of the Builder is allowing the wearer to obtain sprocket containers from the corpses of their enemies, and Boon of the Zookeeper is permanently enchant shoulders with the Harvester enchantment, allowing the wearer to obtain pile of pet goodies from the corpses of their enemies.
Oh, I'll get that for sure.
Yeah.
I don't even care what's in it. I feel like that's the only thing that doesn't have an expiration date. Like, pet charms are still good next expansion.
I know, and apparently I think that's sold in Dalaran currently, so
yeah, that makes sense.
See. But yeah.
Makes sense. Well, that's all very exciting, and also they said this is not in the notes of anything that is definitely happening. So disclaimer, not definitely happening, but at the Q&A they had talked about the return of the Stranglethorn fishing tournament, and it was reiterated later on that was something that they were aiming for 7.15, but they weren't making promises.
Right. So we'll see. I'm curious how they're going to test all the mini holidays because, obviously the 7.1.5 PTR, that's a mouthful, is not going to, be going on in like June and August when these holidays are coming up. But yeah, I want to keep an eye on to see if we'll see the fishing tournament just pop up on, the PTR maybe this Sunday.
If it does...
Yep,
that's what's going on. I never put any stock into getting that title, and it was like once I found out it was unavailable, all of a sudden I wanted it really bad. So
there's actually one of the Brawlers Guild fights is called it's like Stranglethorn Veil, and it says it summons a bunch of mobs from the area, and there's this spell called Stranglethorn Streaker.
Oh my god.
Sounds really funny. And I'm like, wow, is this the fishing tournament? And then I saw the Rumble card and I'm like, oh. It's actually Brawler's Guild. Because I was like, wow, that's harsh if you're like having to fish naked and like your experience is gone and you're like running around slowly. That sounds so strange.
I mean, I would be okay with that being an event as well, the nude fishing tournament. That's okay. I'm down for that as well.
All of your experience has been removed. So have your clothes.
Have your clothes. Perfect. 10 out of 10. That Blizzard is too much, man. Blizzard is too much. Also in 7.1.5, can we call it that? 7.1.5?
Yeah. Serious update.
There's a bunch of new legendaries coming, including some legendary trinkets.
Yeah. And besides that, some of the ones that have not received much love are getting some more attention, such as Cephas and Pridaz, and some ones for other specs, like the Akainu ones for Shaman.
I should have looked up and seen if my stupid legendary got buffed, because I don't even think it's good.
Some of them even got new effects, like the one of the priest healer ones as well, and some of the paladin ones. And as they said in the Q&A, some received nerfs like the Fire Mage and the Death Knight bracers, but it's still a work in progress. Something which we didn't have in the notes, but Blizzard made a blue post on Friday about was that the PTR doesn't have the full picture of the mechanical class changes yet. Mm-hmm. So some changes don't make sense. There could be more legendaries on the way.
Yeah.
Some specs have like half their changes, but not others.
Yeah.
So it's hard to evaluate and get a sense of the full picture at this point right now.
Yeah. Yeah, and they must have posted that because people probably flipped out. I mean, I didn't look because I try to stay away from the forums.
Right.
But I assume that people flipped out if they had to post something that was like, quit flipping out. But
yeah, I mean, also usually Blizzard, when they do official patch notes, they explain some of the class changes like they did for 7.1, but for these notes, they were just like, oh, more detailed notes are coming soon, which was very suspenseful.
Yeah. Okay, so I just glanced quick and I didn't see mine on the list, but the legendary that I got made it so that if you Riptide someone under 40%, you don't use the cooldown on Riptide, which seems good in theory, except that it's like nobody is ever dipping below 40% unless crap is hitting the fan, in which case Riptide is probably not the best course of action. So I feel like it would probably be good situational, but like I'm never in that situation.
Yeah, so. Well, I mean, there could be a new round of stuff. Like, I think some classes, when we data mine it, like, some classes had each spec get something new, and then a few were just like, Hunter Survival, like, not yet done. Mm-hmm. So maybe more are getting tweaks or being added. anyway.
But they're all up to 910 now, right? That was the hotfix, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
So they're all up to 910. I believe they're going to be even higher when the new patch hits, or around like Nighthold, they're going to be a touch higher.
Yeah.
And if you have an old legendary and you really like the proc, you can do the quest to boost it up to the new level,
which is super nice.
Yeah, so you don't have to go like farm like the eye level 920 version of your 910.
Yeah, of your 910 trinket, which is just silly.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that they added that. Artifact power is also getting some updates in 7.1. Of course, we're getting that new catch-up mechanism where you'll be able to trade in Order Hall resources to get artifact knowledge. And what's good to remember about that is that you can also trade in Blood of Sargeras for Order Hall resources.
Yeah, that's new to 7.1 on the vendor that has all like the fish and the meat and all that.
Yep. And he's in Dalaran.
Yeah, and the other thing, which I think Blizzard brought this up at your Q&A maybe, or one of the BlizzCon talks, was about how people really don't like getting gold from bonus rolls. It doesn't feel very meaningful.
Yeah.
And they've added the option so artifact power can now like take that place and be something you can get.
That's so much better. That's so, because the gold was insulting. It was like you could have vendored a piece of gear for more gold than they were giving.
It's also like you're spending gold on your bonus roll, like you're spending 1,000 gold on this bonus roll to get 50 gold back as a consolation prize. Like it's just, yeah.
It hurts, man.
It was just not good.
Yeah, no, I think it's a way better idea to give you artifact power, or honestly just about anything that's not gold, or at least give you like a substantial amount of gold. At least let that pool of gold be big. Like I don't think I would mind getting gold if it was like you could get anywhere between 100 and 10,000 randomly, like a lottery system. But getting like 30 gold just hurts, man. It doesn't feel good at all. So that's all nice to know. Then
speaking of stuff at your Q&A, like this was. Yeah,
a lot of this stuff came up. Yeah.
Really...
A lot of this stuff came up. But also the WoW token in the 7.1.5 data may, in 7.1.5, be able to be used for more than just game time. So you would be able to buy your WoW token for $20, put it on the auction house, and then that would be able to give whoever bought it either game time or a certain amount of Battle.net balance. If I had to guess, that would be $15 if
we don't know the exact rates yet. If you look at the strings, like Blizzard's being very clever not to tell us what it is yet, but based on the official website, thank you. Battle.net balance is what's used for all the digital services. So like, realm transfer, name transfer, Hearthstone cards.
Well, it makes me wonder, since it's Battle.net balance, do you think you'd be able to use that on other games that aren't WoW?
Well, I mean, like, I went to the Battle.net support forums, and I'm like, what is your definition of this? And it's like, oh, the Battle.net balance is, like, the currency that powers this and WoW, and hero skins, and Overwatch loots, and, like, WoW mounts, and digital services, and digital editions. So I'm like, like, I mean, they have the page set up to imply it's this central currency for lots of games. So, maybe.
Yeah. That's interesting. Interesting.
So...
Because that essentially means you could possibly buy, like, Overwatch crates for gold.
Right, except they do have... I think there's a cap on how many tokens you can buy in a certain period.
Yeah,
so you can't just, like, binge.
I wonder if they would remove that cap, though, if they were allowing people to buy balance. Because I think the idea of the cap rate...
We'll have to keep watching the PTR and see.
Yeah, because I think the idea of the cap right now is to keep people from buying a bunch of tokens when they're cheap. You know what I mean? Right. But if they were letting you get things that were not, I don't know. I'm interested to see what's going to go on with that. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's also interesting because when you asked that question at BlizzCon, they're like, "Oh, this is something we'd like to do," and I don't think they gave a time estimate. And it's encouraging to see this in the data a few weeks later. It's like, wow, they really meant that. They weren't just saying, "Oh, this is cool. It's a thing. It's happening. There's." Work was done on it.
I've noticed that this year more than any other previous BlizzCon, that I feel like we're hearing about something and it's like immediate,
I totally forgot about this in the holiday section, but you know how you asked them how would it be possible if holiday bosses scaled with level like the demon invasions? Yeah. That's in the data too. Like there's this item variation thing called like, max level 830 also scales with level. And, like, it has the heirloom sliders, such as the, other Wowhead pages that have things that scale based on your level, like timewalking. So I'm like, whoa, like, that's cool. Like, maybe we could do Love is in the Year with level 80 players.
That's
So
really
there's
cool.
the data hints that that's coming as well, which is
That's
cool.
really cool. I feel like for so many years people would like hang on to things that they said at Q&As as like they're
The
going to
dance
do this
studio.
eventually, definitely for sure. And then like we've already seen so many things happen, and then a lot of the things that haven't happened yet or aren't in the data yet are things that they gave time limits on. Like the one that sticks in my head is pet battle dungeons. Like they said in
Yeah.
a Legion patch. That is a quote. They didn't say in the future or we'd like to. They said in a
Yep.
Legion patch. So I feel like I don't know if it's like I don't know if they all had like a powwow and decided not to say things if it wasn't something that was in the realistic
I
future.
mean, I'm totally fine with that. Like everyone was so sad after Worlds of Draenor was like, we're going to Karabor and it's the capital city, and it's like, no, we're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
just think it's great that like I would rather them pull back on announcements and only announce things that are, 85% going to happen so that we aren't getting hyped about things that aren't going to happen because
yeah, I mean, I know saying something totally, you know, awesome and grandiose is great for hype, but there's also a certain type of hype where it's like, oh my God, the thing they promised actually happened like really soon after they promised it. Like
yeah.
that's a certain type of excitement and trust that maybe isn't as, overwhelmingly joyous at first, but it's better for the long term and people are constantly happy and
Well,
looking forward to
absolutely,
things.
especially since we're going through this and a lot of these things we had just heard about. Like we just heard about a lot of these things at BlizzCon for the very first time and now like they're like a month away, 2 months away, and I think that's like a very I think that in Warlords of Draenor, the dev team and the community had a really hard time communicating with each other. I feel like there was a
Yeah,
lot of
flying for sure.
animosity, there was a lot of miscommunication, there was a lot of inconsistencies between what one developer would say to another developer.
Yeah. You
And
know what
I
I just thought was really interesting? So, like, Ian got a lot of praise that he's doing these streams and that
yeah,
he's, you know, sharing all this information and that he's saying that the plan for Blizzard is to, constantly be releasing things and being transparent.
yeah,
And, he was caught up in, well, not the controversy, but when flying was being discussed, he was one of the people talking about it
yeah.
back when there seemed to be a lot of contradictory things. So I think that just shows that, there's not just one person in charge of things at Blizzard, that there's this whole system of people trying to have the right message.
Well, I
And
think
especially if people are like, oh, like Ian said the wrong thing with flying, and now it's like, oh man, his plan is so great. Like you have to
Well, I think
reconcile
that
that.
Ian in particular has built. This is Watcher Dev for those of you
Yeah.
unfamiliar with first names. I think Watcher in general has done a lot of work personally with community relations. Like he's like
Yeah.
I'll
I
never forget when we interviewed him about 6.1 and he looked straight at the camera and said 6.1 was not a content patch and it shouldn't have
right.
been presented as such. And we were like, because like just 2 days
Right.
earlier someone had said something totally different, and to have someone that feels like they're on our side essentially, that's in such
Yeah.
a position of power, and then in seeing how the announcements at BlizzCon went this year and how quickly we're getting those things, I feel
Right.
like after Warlords and the main city is a perfect example. I feel like there were a lot of things in Warlords where there was a trust that was broken between
Right.
some
And the
members
flying being
of
like, oh, it's never going to come. Oh, wait, it is going to come. Oh, we don't
yeah.
know when. Like just constantly talking about things is so much better than, yeah,
Absolutely, and I feel
making
like
sweeping
Ian's
statements.
doing a super good job, and like I feel like that's also a hard position to be in because you're getting all the criticism as well. Like
Yep.
anytime someone praises you, there's 10 people lining up to have something mean to say because squeaky wheels, man. But he's done a phenomenal job of really stepping up and being a source of communication between the devs and the community, and I feel like with how successful Legion's been, with how happy people are with Legion, to have someone that's like really feels like they're part of this and they're doing it for us, and it's just a great feeling. I feel like a lot of the choices that he's made in communicating with people in the community and players has been hugely beneficial in a way
Yeah.
that marketing and stuff could have never done.
Yeah. Speaking of fun communication things, one more BlizzCon update before we talk about what's going on live servers. I thought this was so clever. So, Muffiness on Twitter last week was saying that, oh, did you hear about a new pet family that you can tame? Like it's hinted in this
Mm-hmm.
interview. And BlizzPro had some technical difficulties getting their interview up right after BlizzCon. And while Petopia discovered when the interview finally went up that that interview teased that when hunters unlock their class mount, they can also unlock the ability to, quote, tame beasts with wings such as griffins.
Oh.
So that's totally cool. And then people are speculating, so are hippogriffs going to come? Are wyverns going to come?
Thank
Can
you
they
for
be beasts with
subscribing.
wings that don't fly? Like, that's just so cool. I
Yeah.
mean, hippogriffs are beautiful, and griffins, especially if you're an alliance player, would be awesome. And then, yeah, that's just really fun. Like,
Yeah,
that's just
I
such a cool announcement.
yeah,
And a lot
absolutely.
of people are like, oh, the hunter class mount is like not the most exciting one, and then they have this awesome perk
I
that ties
thought the
along.
hunter class mount was cool. I don't know what it is. I thought it's like a wolf bear thing with some homemade wings on it. I don't know. I think the hunter class mount is cool.
It sort of reminded me of the Amani bear, which was cool, but it's like, oh, it reminds me of this existing thing. But yeah, I just thought that was a really cool detail, and it ties in with how when we talked to them, they were telling us about the different tints for specs to make sense, and then they're telling these guys that hunters get something cool, um, which is neat because like for Arcane Fire and Frost, they all have different tints, and hunters obviously don't have different tints because they're more similar, but instead they have this cool mount,
Yeah.
and that has the you know, extra taming thing because that makes more sense for Hunter Fantasy to get something cool to tame.
Yeah.
Um,
I do you like your class mount?
I mean, like I think for the most part I do. I want to see what the Rogue One is as well. Like I like the Rogue One more because it's like a raven and a bird, and I like how the ravens tie in with the birds you have above the three secret entrances to the class hall. But yeah, for the most part, I like them. I think they were cool.
I feel like I can't get behind my class mount. And I know everybody thinks the shaman one is super cool. And I don't not think it's cool, but like shaman lore is about like working with the elements and like being grateful when they do
Maybe
things for
there'll be a
you.
cool story behind it because I agree on the surface it feels very
Like it feels
like sort of
disrespectful to harness an elemental and ride it. It just feels wrong.
I mean, maybe you rescue the elemental. I don't know. Or
And
like
then you
maybe
ride it. That seems so rude.
I don't know. Maybe it's like, oh, awesome hero. Like I will help you on your mission. Thank you for saving the. I
Yeah,
don't know. I mean,
I don't.
I'm
It's
sure
like a
there's gonna be
super cool
something.
model, but like even like Thrall, like when he does stuff and he's like the elements help him out, he always has this attitude of, well, that worked because you never know if the elements are
But
going to
it's
decide
Thrall,
to
and like
help you or not.
Thrall is all like, I don't know, Doomhammer. I'm just gonna peace out for a bit. So
So it just feels like sort of it just I feel like shaman hold more respect for the elements than to saddle them up and ride them like a surfboard. It just
I mean,
feels.
maybe something really bad will happen to the elementals, and they're just so grateful that they
I would have liked it
want
if it
to do
was like
this for
an
you.
animal made out of elements. So it was like the elements like conjured you like a wind horse or something. I feel but the fact that it's just a giant wind elemental, it just feels like wrong. But I had the same ethical dilemma about groundling mounts. I feel like groundlings
Oh
are
no.
just like one chromosome short of being orcs, and it seems very wrong to saddle them up and ride them as well. Like they're two-legged beings. They can almost talk. It just seems very wrong to me. So I don't know.
Uh,
We'll see. We'll
yeah.
see. But I think I actually really like the hunter class mounts. I like someone in the chat was talking about the warrior one. I think the warrior one is awesome. It's kind of in between a
See,
storm drake and a proto
the
drake.
warrior one reminds me of the mount you get for Draenor Pathfinder. So I guess we have very different tastes in mounts.
Wait, no,
Because I'm
Draenor
like, oh,
Pathfinder is a Rylac, isn't it?
but it's the same coloration. How it's like the wine trim with the kind of beige, yellowy wings.
Yeah,
That
but it's a
yeah,
dragon.
I know. But
And
to
it's like a
me,
new model of a dragon. It's not even
I
like the
know.
same. He reminds me
Yeah,
of a dragon from How to Train Your Dragon with the big lower jaw.
it's definitely cool. I'm just saying that it just has this association for me of like, oh,
Yeah.
it's like
Oh,
Draenor
I get
Pathfinder.
it. Clearly, I
Okay.
can't deal with Grondling
Yeah,
mounts. I just feel like it's rude.
yeah. One more
Anyways.
little bit of information from the interview before going to live stuff. BlizzPro asked the developers about micro events if this was a complete list or not, and the developers at the time said it wasn't, but it should mostly cover the 7.15 to 7.2 gap. And we have the dates on the PTR ones. They're not set in stone, but a lot of the holidays are clustered in the January to like mid-June range,
Mm-hmm.
with the dinosaur one off in August. So you can speculate if you want, if you're like, oh, when is 7.2? How does this fit into all the holidays? Or, maybe since the developer interview was several weeks before we got the micro holiday data, maybe stuff was changed between then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just
I'll
want to
be
say before
interested to see what else they.
someone else was like, oh man, 7.2 was coming the day after the dinosaur event ends. Like,
Yeah, well, I feel like it would be way before that anyways, because Nighthold is like early, and I know they said it wasn't tied directly to Nighthold, but I would think that 7.2 would probably be like in February, March.
I think it would be a little bit later, especially because they say they want to have time to develop the 7.2 storyline
Yeah.
going to the next raid. So I feel like they want Nighthold to be cleared or mostly cleared by a healthy amount of raids, and then they want people to feel comfortable switching their gears away from the Nightfallen and focusing on going back to the Broken
That's
Shore.
fair enough. So if we had Nighthold, let's say we had Nighthold in, let's say we had it February 7th, just throwing a date out there.
Yeah.
That would mean March 7th would be, oh, that's weird. That also falls on a Tuesday. March 7th would be a month, and then April 4th would be 2 months. May 9th would be 3 months. You're right. It could be like May, June.
Yeah.
Because 3 months is about right? Like that's what they would be looking at for. I mean,
right, and
depending
also
on how long it takes for people
LFR
to
has
clear.
to be staggered because Nighthold is 10 bosses, so what? That's
Oof.
like 3-4 LFR wings. And that's always like 2 weeks apart, and
Yeah.
that's 8 weeks for 4 wings, and it never comes out the first week, so that's 9 weeks. So
Well, on the
yeah.
bright side, that could mean that people who are in school will get to 7.2 at a time where they actually can like spend a lot of time playing it.
Yeah.
Not
All
that
right,
there's a
we should go
downside
on
because
to
content's
12th
been coming out like crazy lately. Yeah, so stuff has been going on live servers as well,
Yeah.
as you probably noticed.
It's just like non-stop like flow of new things coming every Tuesday.
It's constant. It's constant.
Yeah.
World of Warcraft's 12th anniversary is going on right now through November 30th. And when you log on, if you go check your mail, you get 200 time warped badges, which I would recommend doing this on all of your characters if for no other reason then you could just buy stuff later.
Oh,
just go
free
to
stuff. Yeah.
Just vendor later. Like you don't you do nothing and you get free badges. Like just do it. Just do it. It's really easy. And you'll also get 12% experience in rep, which works during the time. Like you have to use it every hour, but it doesn't have a number of charges. It'll just stop working after the 30th. Yeah. It'll also give you an item that gives you a quest, and you turn it into a librarian in either Stormwind or Orgrimmar, and then they'll ask you trivia questions every day, and you can get an additional 25 time warp badges, which 14 days times 25, that's like 400 and 500. Is that 500 badges? 450.
I think it's under 500. Also, you can do this on every character.
Yeah, if you did
so
it, if you did it on every, you could get literally so many, and that's not even including the 200. And like I'm just saying, you could get a ton without doing a whole lot. So just you should.
Yep.
Also, you'll get the Corgi Pup for 200 badges. Now you can have 3 of them in your inventory, but you can't sell them if you cage them.
Right.
So it's really not worth spending 200 to get additional ones. Which I did because I thought maybe I could sell it, and then I was like, oh dang, that was a mistake. But but you can get the Corgi Pup for 200 badges, and he's super cute. I have a little gallery of screenshots I took of mine. And he's so cute. Adorable. He's so cute. You can also get the inflatable Thunder Fury and the Van Cleef costumes from last year. And yeah, you can be level 1. I did this on my bank character.
Yeah. Also note about the Corgi Pup. For the 10th anniversary, probably a lot of people were playing them, but if you weren't, there was a Molten Corgi reward, and that was only available during the anniversary. And people were sad they couldn't get a Corgi, and they wanted, another Corgi. So this is meant to be a throwback to the 10th anniversary Corgi.
Yep, and then you can also get Cornelius, and you can have a battle team of all Corgis.
I know, so cute.
He's really adorable. He has
the same animations as the Molten one, right? So it's like sniffing his butt and doing the little scoot and super cute.
Oh yeah. So he's adorable. Get him. Don't miss him. You'll have regrets if you miss him, especially since he's free. All you have to do is run to the vendor. That's it. That's all you have to do. Also, Trial of Valor Mythic opened this week, and ouch, I just pulled my headphone out of my ear.
Oh no.
And Method has already
at the time we do the notes. Yeah, it was like a week ago at this point. Yeah, but
okay, so fair enough. So it was like last week, and Method achieved the world first clear. I know we're all shocked by this information. What? Method got a world first clear? I can't imagine.
Yep. Grats to them.
Yep, grats to them. And in that same realm of thinking, as far as Trial of Valor goes, all of Trial of Valor's loot was hot fixed 5 item levels higher. So Mythic Helia is 895, and Heroic is going to be 860, and then
880.
880.
Yeah, it's a 15 item level
and the
gap,
normal is 860. Yeah. My bad.
865, yeah.
Yep.
Odin and Gorm are 5 item levels lower than Helya, which I feel is a detail a lot of people didn't realize because early on the PTR they were all the same item level. But yeah, so like Odin and Gorm are 860 normal, Helya is 865 normal now.
Gotcha. And then
Yeah.
LFR opened this week.
Yep. And as a reminder, there are these cosmetic sets from Trial of Valor, and you can do a quest to loot all these fragments to get some of the sets, but the full cosmetic set can drop from any boss. And they're cool because Trial of Valor doesn't have helms and shoulders that match the cool, like, Rekril-themed armor, but the cosmetic sets have the helm and shoulders that go along with it. So if you like transmog, you should look into that. And I believe we have a post for Thanksgiving that will give you some transmog tips on how to make those sets look nice.
You know what's funny about those sets is when I showed them off the first time, I was in a really bad mood. I don't remember what was going on in my life at that time that put me in such a bad mood. And I was like, I hate them all. I hate all of them. They're all so bad.
And now you like them?
And no, it was funny because then you're like, well, do you like any of them? I'm like, the one with the dragon on the shoulders is okay. And you're like, that's the male one, Daniel. So every time I see those sets, I just remember that time that I put my foot in my mouth promptly, like right on camera in front of everybody. It was just like complaining and then instantly like had to take it back. It's good stuff. So this, I did not listen to this interview yet, but Scott Johnson from The Instance interviewed Chris Metzen after his retirement about his retirement.
Yeah, I recommend that whenever you have a quiet moment to listen to it because a lot of what he said resonated with me, and you know, judging by the reaction, a lot of people were very appreciative of this interview. When I first went into it, I thought he just was going to talk about like his favorite lore characters and just, you know, like having it be a more, you know, generic or sort of, you know, upbeat. Well, I mean, you know, like upbeat or just like very hype, like, oh, I still love Thrall, I still love Varian, like I love my kid. And it was really deep and went in a direction I did not think it would go in. He was talking about, he was really doing a lot of soul searching and was explaining, like, he just had to retire because the end of Titan hit him really hard, and it just sort of brought all of these flaws in his, like, outlook and anxiety and, like, mindset that he couldn't let anyone down and always had to be creative and seek validation. It just sort of brought all this to the forefront, and he felt that he really owed it to his friends to create Overwatch, but like that was a real struggle after taking Titan so personally, and he started to notice that he was having anxiety attacks and he didn't even know what it was at first because like as a man, like you're not really encouraged to, you know, talk about that sort of thing or seeking medication or help. And it was also complicated because everyone thinks that he's very like outgoing and this, you know, hype man and, you know, BlizzCon, you know, for the Alliance, for the Horde, but he's actually really private and homey. So he just had to sort a lot of things out and take better care of his mental state and his body. And instead of sort of being in this, you know, cycle of trying to chase validation and feel like he had to be perfect. And if he wasn't, he would get an anxiety attack and feel like he had to live up to this like super outgoing hyping thing when he was more of a quiet guy. And yeah, I was really impressed. Like he just put himself.
Yeah, that's a lot to talk about, especially if it's something that you don't talk about a lot, like any sort of issues. Like I can empathize with that not being an easy thing to talk about, especially if you're talking about, you know, living in a culture that doesn't accept those as being real issues for you or things that you should be dealing with. So that's
like he's like, I didn't know how to talk about this at first. I thought that I had, you know, allergies to food, and whenever I relax, I would get like anxious. Like in a movie theater, I'd always get anxious, and it took him, he said, a really long time to realize that it was anxiety attacks, and then he was afraid of taking medication. And you know, like it's hard to talk about these things when no one else around you is, especially, you know, as a guy, but also, you know, game development's very much like, oh, you know, like BlizzCon hype, everyone loves you, you're awesome. You know, like you feel like you can't let people down or seem vulnerable.
Yeah, I can totally empathize with that. When I went to my doctor, I thought I was having issues with anxiety, and she told me, I mean, I was, but the reason that I was having anxiety issues was because I had hilariously severe undiagnosed ADHD. So I would hyper focus on everything, really. It wasn't like one thing. It was everything was top priority. And until I started seeing, right now I see 2 different doctors for it. One of them is like a psychiatrist, and then the other one is like a therapist. just working on different ways to handle those, because your brain just works differently than other people's. And I kind of have always had the belief in my mind, and this is just personal, that like anybody who has any sort of extreme talents probably has an extreme flaw that balances them out.
Yeah, like he's saying that just like this need to be this creative artist, that he would get very passionate about his work, so like the fear of failure, or if there was an actual disappointment like Titan, would just hit him really hard, and like that's something he needs to sort out, especially now that he's a father. Like he didn't just want to be like so wrapped up in this anxiety of having to, you know, do something amazing or feel awful if it didn't work out. He wanted to be there for his family.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. That's a really that's a very respectable reason to you know, to just try to get yourself together, like especially if you're in such a public public eye. And there was no way he wasn't going to be in a public eye, you know what I mean? There was nothing that he could do to step down and be less Chris Metzen.
And like he said that he felt like he was very happy to meet with fans at BlizzCon. It's just, you know, people just ran with the, you know, like the very sort of public outgoing part of him, and they didn't see the other side of him, and even talked about going to some convention and having to like go back up to his room and just like take a deep breath and calm down, then like go back out and meet all the adoring fans.
I actually feel very bad this year at BlizzCon, because I'm normally very good at keeping it on all the time, but I'm actually a very introverted person naturally, and I spend all my time by myself for the most part. So going out into these events is, it's crazy, it's insane, and it's insane for you too. And like at the end,
by Saturday night, you're just like sitting there quietly, being like, I can't talk. Like, I don't know how to socialize. What are words?
A Saturday night I was at a complete loss, because after I got off the Q&A, when I went up for the Q&A, just to set the scene for you, I went backstage, I changed, I put all of my stuff in a pile, and almost immediately my backstage pass was not with the rest of my stuff. So I was like apologizing to the security guard. I lost my backstage pass. Like, I'm supposed to be here. And he's like kind of brushing it off, but it was clear someone had moved my stuff from A to B, and the backstage pass was in the stuff that got moved. Well, what I didn't realize, that when my stuff got moved, my phone was also not, like, I was so concerned, because they told me you have to give this pass back when you leave, that I was like hyper focused on not losing it. I mean, it was like 30 seconds and it was gone, and I was like, there's no way I didn't, but I don't know what happened. Well, in the meantime, my phone was gone too, and I didn't realize it until I got off stage. I wasn't allowed to go backstage because I lost my pass. So when they gave me all of my stuff back, my phone wasn't there. And then they were just kind of like, well, that's your problem to deal with. And everybody at Blizzard was really great, but there was like 6 different security firms working the convention, so nobody was communicating. And my phone
I felt so bad about all that at the time.
Well, and then I was hungry. I hadn't eaten all day, and every time
plus like you're probably coming down from this high of being like, oh man, I just nailed the Q&A. Like, all these people are looking at me. I just want to go like chill. And
all I wanted was to find my phone and go see the con floor, because I never actually saw the con floor this year because I was so busy.
It's so
same. And while I was trying to find my phone, I'm getting bounced from security guard to security guard, and like anytime I would walk by myself to go from A to B, I would get stopped for pictures, and I was just like almost in tears for like all of these pictures.
Right, and, you're like, I need my phone.
Like I need to find my, like I have to travel home tomorrow at like 7 a.m, and like my husband was going to Austin, so like he wasn't coming home with me, so if I didn't find it before the end of the night, like I wasn't gonna have a phone for like 2 weeks. Which sounds like nothing, but everything in my life is 2-step verification, so I was so scared, like, how am I going to get into my email? How am I going to get into WoW? Like, how am I going to function at all? And there was a moment where I got kind of surrounded by people, and I was just like, guys, I need to not, like, I can't do this. And, like, I felt really bad, because everybody looked at me like I was letting them down, and I'm sitting there like, I haven't eaten in 14 hours. My phone is missing. My husband is missing. My sister's missing. Maybe I'm the missing one. Maybe all of those things are together somewhere, but I'm missing. So it was just, it's like you don't, every year for BlizzCon for me has been more intense when it comes to like viewers and fans, and I'm always so excited. Like, it's not fake when I like meet people and I'm excited to meet them.
Yeah, he was saying that too. He's not like, oh, I'm not like using fans, like I actually like meeting them.
No, I love meeting people and taking pictures, but the thing that I don't love is when I don't feel up to it, I'm not good at faking it, and then I don't want this person to get less of an experience than this person, and then I feel guilty, which makes me feel worse, which doesn't help the original problem that I don't want to be there. Like, it's a very vicious cycle that I can completely relate to in that way. So Yeah, I don't know. I can completely understand that
Yeah,
point of view
I
that
think
he's
it's definitely
talking
worth a
about.
listen. Like,
Oh yeah,
even
I
when you're
wanted to. I just
saying
haven't had
things
time.
like, oh, like when before we started the show, we're talking about Thanksgiving and how it's hard to take a break for a few days. Like, he was talking about how like just like always feeling egged on with his work and like having anxiety when he didn't work and like trying to break that cycle. And I'm like, like I should take this to heart. And yeah,
Yeah, no, I
or,
feel like that's especially for people like you and I who work in the same, not the same industry, but the same
right.
type of situation. I think it's really
Yeah,
important when you're doing that, particularly when you're in the public eye, because it's very easy to be critical of yourself anyways, but then to add other people
right.
being critical of you on top of
And then when
that.
you create something, and if like you don't look for the validation, but when you're in the public eye and there's a component of validation and it doesn't go how you want it to, and you just feel
Absolutely.
like you share this really personal part of yourself that you're proud of and it fails, like that makes you feel bad, and you can't look upset because
Yeah.
people are still like looking up to you and want to talk to you.
Yeah,
And
it's I can
yep,
completely relate to that, and I think it's really respectable that he talked about that so candidly because it could really
yeah,
help a lot of people.
yeah. I think even people at Blizzard as well, like discussions on how to make the environment, better, or adjust these habits while you're still working there and not being afraid to, voice concerns. Because I remember when he retired, a lot of the anecdotes that people had at Blizzard were making him seem like he was, like the life of the party and, hyping things up and, like larger than life or doing some big dramatic thing. And I'm sure all that was true, but it just struck me how no one really had something like, oh, like he was introspective, or, like
Yeah.
homey, all the ways he's describing himself, like that sort of stuff didn't make it into a lot of other employees' posts. So you almost wonder like maybe if he was putting on a little, not an act, but
No, I
if
mean
he
I
was
think that
showing
what
more of
that
that
is I
side of
like
his
to call that
personality.
sending the representative.
Yeah,
Like it's
I
not
agree.
that it's not you, it's just the version of you that you would like people to see. And I think everybody
Exactly.
in their life does that at times, whether you're meeting,
Yeah.
maybe your significant other's family for the first time, like you don't show up in PJs. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
there's
Yeah.
always a time in
You
your
want to,
life.
and if people are looking up to you, if they're so excited to meet and work with you, like you want to seem awesome and
Yeah, you want to
energized,
live up to
inspiring
what they
everyone.
thought you were
You don't
going to
want to
be.
you don't want to let
I
them
can
down.
totally understand that. I can totally understand that. So, yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
really interesting. I'll definitely listen to it when I get a chance. I've just been super busy, but I'm really interested to hear more about that, and I think it was really brave of him to talk about it so
Yeah.
candidly.
Yeah, and
So,
also awesome job to Scott for, setting up that interview and,
Scott's a good
having,
person to talk to about stuff like that though too.
he's a good person, and just having like that sort of environment where, Chris Metzen could open up and talk about those things,
That was
for
like,
over.
oh my god! I saw him at BlizzCon this year.
Yeah.
He's like, Danielle, Scott Johnson. I'm like, Scott, we've met 5 times. I know who you are. But he's so like polite. He doesn't want to, because like
I
this has happened
know.
to me a lot of times in my life where I meet someone and then I like will meet them again the next year and it just doesn't click. Like because I meet so many
No, like
people.
I introduced myself to you 3 times, so
It's okay. People and I appreciate that more than the people who I'm like, oh, what's your name? And they're like, so
right.
and so. I met you 4 times. I'm like, not again. It happened again.
Yep.
So I appreciate it when people do that. But I also was like, Scott, I know who you are. You're such a nice guy. I know who you are. But yeah, as far as moving on from super emotional, deep topics, there are some updates to Wowhead.
Yeah, so last week we talked about the new premium price, and it's still that price going forward. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed. It's now $1 a month or $9 for a year. We're seeing lots of premium logos and badges and premium colored text in the comments, which makes me really happy. But the new thing we added this week was a favorite system. So what this means is that on any database page, like an item or an achievement or a transmog set, there's a star next to the name of the item. And then when you click on that, it will be added to a favorites menu that pops up on the top right side of every page. So you can easily keep track of your popular pages. And right now that is guides and the database pages. We might add more things like tools in the future, but for right now, we just figured there's like so many database pages and so many guides,
Mm-hmm.
and something like the Talon Calc is really straightforward in comparison. So
Yeah.
we're going to see how it goes. And yeah, it's really simple. It's open for everyone, not just our patrons. We thought that when we asked people what they really wanted out of Wowhead Premium, a lot of people just really care about an option to, have like an ad-free experience. They don't want elaborate features behind some high paywall. They just want like simple $1, no ads. So we're like, let's keep making features that everyone can use, and we'll just reduce the price on premium to give people what they really want from it.
Well,
So,
thank you.
yeah,
Oh,
check it out.
Olivia subscribed again. Hi,
Aw,
Olivia. Hi.
hey.
No, I think that's a great idea because I think the majority of people who are paying for Wowhead Premium, it's to support the site and to get rid of ads.
Yeah.
But not that there aren't perks, because there are. But I think ad free is like the best thing. And for $1 a month, like I pay for YouTube Red, and that's $10 a month, and I don't watch any of the original content. I only pay for that, so I don't have ads. So it's like the things that I use Wowhead more than I watch YouTube videos.
Yeah, like people were saying, like, oh, your premium price used to be high, and it's like, well, it's the same price as Twitch, but point taken. Do we add more features to this higher rate, or do we lower it? And we're like, oh, we'll just lower it,
Yeah, and that'll probably get
Simple.
more people on anyways. Like in the long run, that's probably going to be better for everyone. But
yeah, I mean, like there are so many people in like different countries, different age groups, college students, people that. I know we have some people at Wowhead that like go to BlizzCon and like will pay for the Illidan statue. But we have other people who are like super excited when they win a free pet from the site. So we think having the lower price rate.
Kirk, that reminds me. Oh my god, I just pulled my headset out again. What is wrong with me?
Okay, what happened?
What is wrong with me? So I was cleaning out my purse today, and I totally found a Heroes of the Storm skin that I accidentally stole.
Oh, okay.
So remind me to give that code to you after this.
Okay.
Just one.
Yeah, we didn't give out all of our party codes, so we'll be having a steady drip of prizes over the course of the next few months.
Drip
Christmas
of
giveaway.
Absolutely. Yeah. So definitely subscribe to
Speaking
Wowhead
of holidays,
Premium. It's the best.
Premium, yeah, you can talk about it more.
Well,
Premium
I was just gonna say, I definitely think it's worth it. Like my sister pays for it, like she loves it. It's if you use Wowhead at all. I mean, all websites have annoying ads. It's not like it's not any exclusive website that's like that. All websites have annoying ads because you have to have ads to keep money coming in to keep the site alive. So if you hate ads and you love Wowhead for $1 a month, no more annoying ads, and you can support
also
Wowhead.
I mean, if you're overseas, or if you use any of the localized part of Wowhead, premium is significantly better than having just ads going through because, like if you're using Wowhead in Russian, sometimes, we're not really exactly monetizing these English ads in Russia very well. So if, paying for premium is like it's like a steady contribution to the site versus ads that maybe don't do as well in Europe or, Asia, Australia, other places outside the US.
So, anyways, it's only $1 a month, though, and it's totally worth it. It's $1 a month or $5 for 6 months or $9 for the year. Is that right?
Yeah, so it's like even less than $1 for if you get the year option.
Yeah, it's super cheap and no ads. It's amazing. And that also works on your phone as well. If you're signed in on your phone, you won't get ads on your phone either, which these days it's so easy to be signed in on your phone because if you use Chrome on your phone, it just auto signs you in. It's amazing. It's the best. So, that is a thing. And then last up, we're going to talk about some merchandise stuff.
Yeah, Blizzard. Pepe is excited.
Yep. Blizzard is, of course, doing Black Friday stuff. We don't know everything yet, but we do know that every day there's going to be a plushie that is available at a discounted price. Today is Winston Day, so if you've been looking for a Winston, he is on sale today, and tomorrow is Pepe Day.
Yeah, and so how this works is you have to be looking at Blizzard on Twitter, which is Blizzard_ENT, and they will tweet out a special discount code and a super discounted price, and you have to use that code on their Twitter to get like the special super low rate just for that 24-hour period. So like Winston, for example, if you go to the Blizzard Gear site, Winston is not at that super low price. You have to go find the code on Twitter, and then when you buy Winston, add that code to your purchase. So it gets people clicking around all their social media, I guess, which is creative. We don't know the price of Pepe, but Pepe will have a promotion, and we're so proud of him. Pepe takes everything over. And to culminate, there's going to be more stuff on Black Friday and Cyber Monday, and there's some new items this week. I mean, we just had BlizzCon with hundreds of new items, but now we have an Alliance and Horde bomber jacket on the way. We have hats that are very discreet versions of Alliance and Horde logos, like blue embroidery on a blue hat or black embroidery on a black hat. And the Ghost Reaper Funko Pop from the BlizzCon timewalking game is also going to be on sale. And they said there's even more things coming Cyber Monday, which they haven't unveiled yet, but should be soon. And oh yeah, Black Friday is also coming early to Blizzard. They have their sale all set up with things that are like 50% off, 70% off. Um, all the BlizzCon merchandise is discounted. It's pretty intense. Like 70% off really high quality merchandise. And yeah.
Okay, so you told me the Winston was on sale. I only have the Angry Winston, so I was gonna buy the Winston.
Oh, you should totally
it
do
like
that.
isn't the code isn't working for me. And when I looked in the thing, it says make sure you're logged in, but I am logged in.
Oh no.
I am logged in, so I'm trying to see what its problem is. I'm looking. I'm looking.
One other thing, as you're doing that, one other thing, I'm sure you'll flash it on the screen soon, is that the Wowhead discount code for November was already pretty awesome because it was 15% pretty much everything on Blizzard on the shop except for like the Illidan statue. So that's like BlizzCon merchandise, Overwatch, Heroes of the Storm, WoW, Diablo, anything really. And I checked and it stacks with the sale items. So you get your 70% off the Black Friday merchandise, and then you add the Wowhead discount code on top of that. And that's pretty awesome. That is super nice.
I'm going to have to ask someone why my code isn't working. Do you think it's because I buy too much stuff from them? Because I just ordered something this morning. That's true. That really happened. Like,
I feel like that would be the opposite of want you to, like, like your valued customers should be encouraged to use.
Because I do. I, like, buy a lot of stuff from them. It's honestly, like, don't tell my husband, please. I always like add things to the order for him.
Getting the bomber jackets to preview at some point.
I bought him the World of Warcraft bomber jacket. That's why when he said, "Oh, there's new Horde and Alliance bomber jackets," I was like, "No, they had those already." Because I just bought the World of Warcraft one to frickin' day. Like today, I bought that. So when I said I didn't think they had it, it was because I thought they had it. It was because I literally just spent $60. Well, actually less because I used Wowhead's code. But
yeah, super awesome code, and I look forward to seeing what's actually being revealed on Black Friday and Cyber Monday proper.
All right, so I think I wasn't okay. So I logged out and I logged back in, and we're gonna see if it works now. That might help.
Okay.
Update shopping cart.
Also, a reminder: if you have any questions about stuff we discussed, SAS148 is collecting questions, and we're getting near the end of the show. So get those questions into him if you have any.
All right, I sent them a tweet.
Okay, I'm sure. I mean, I think they're in our Discord, and sometimes they're in
I
chat,
sent them a tweet. Because today is the 21st. Okay. This was only 4 hours ago. It should totally work.
Yeah.
It's primal. I'm not supposed to say, I guess, but you have to go to their Twitter yourself.
Apparently, hold on. Apparently, it's only for. Thanks, Sass, for messaging me. Apparently, the code only lasts for a few hours. Like, it only applies to a very limited amount of merchandise.
Oh, so I'm out of the window?
Yeah, so, like, maybe they only had 100 Winstons with that discount,
today,
and they went.
Though. It says, by our calculations, today you can use this code to score Winston for $10.
Well, right, I mean, but they're trying to sound RP-ish with Winston, like, by our calculations today, but it's only a limited amount of time today.
I'm sad.
Oh.
Sad.
Well, I'm sure he's still discounted with the Black Friday and the Wowhead code.
Yes, but I was going to buy the hat,
it's the principle
for
of it.
Nick, see, because then I could be like, see, I bought something for you. This wasn't just for me. I'm not selfish. But if I'm not getting anything, he's not getting anything either.
You could buy another Pepe tomorrow.
Oh, my God. Well, I would really just like the other Winston, because see my angry Winston back there?
I know. I don't have Angry Winston. I should, yeah.
You know what's funny? Hold on. Let me go grab
the two of us
see how silly this is.
Okay.
Could you see my bunny slippers?
Very briefly. Oh, that reminds me. I should get them real.
I'm wearing bunny slippers. So my Winston has Chewbacca's crossbow.
Aw.
Just hanging out with him. He's so cute. I really like him. I've been playing Winston in Overwatch. Like, he's currently, like, my main. But, okay.
I still think Winston has some sort of discount. Like, he's still going to be on sale this week. He just won't be 75% off.
Yeah.
But, yeah. we'll see. I mean, definitely keep an eye out, I think, for Cyber Monday, because I'm sure there'll be more flash sales coming up. And I think it's cool that the gear shop is trying to, do innovative things, even if we were slow pokes and
I didn't
missed our
know. I was
deadline.
filming a video. I didn't know. I didn't know.
Um,
I shouldn't
one more
talk. I
thing.
buy so much. Like I bought. Nick came
I
home
know.
from Austin, and I like
We have
can't
a
be
lot of
trusted
stuff.
alone. Like I sent you that receipt the other day. I'm like, I went on the
Yeah.
Blizzard Gear Shop one time. I spent $400, guys. Like it's. People call me a Blizzard shill all the time. I give them way more money than they than they've ever given me and stuff. It's really
So
a
I
problem.
figured it out. So if
Okay.
you spend for every 100 you spend, you get a free Cupid Deadly vinyl gift. So that's a reason why you shouldn't just buy stuff in little drips and drabs. You should be like, okay, I'm buying everything today, because
Okay.
that way you'll get more
Well,
free
where
vinyls.
was that when I just bought stuff from the shop 2 days ago and this morning and last
It
week?
was well, they did this big Black Friday unveil it
It
and do
doesn't
it
matter. I
today.
used the Wowhead code on the last thing, and I bought that World of Warcraft bomber jacket that was $60, and I bought other stuff too. I can't remember off the top of my head. I bought the pin roll maybe and something else. I
Right.
definitely bought 2 or 3 things because I had another order that came in today. I have
Are
a
you gonna
problem.
buy the Illidan statue?
I'm
Like,
not gonna buy the Illidan set. I'm running out of. I can buy like clothes and stuff, but I'm running out of places for stuff. It has to be something I really want, because like all my
right.
shelves are full. I can't buy more shelves. This is my problem. Okay, these are my problems. But okay, what do we have left to talk about?
I think we were about it. I
Do we
have
have
some questions
questions?
from people. Yeah.
You let me know when.
So any new ranks in the Brawlers Guild, or is it still 8? Um, it looks like it's still 8 for now, but more challenge card fights. Why would they make us get an invitation to the Brawlers Guild again? It doesn't make any sense to me. So, the invitations seem like a way of gating it, so there's not a rush of 100 people lined up to do the fight. So, if you really want the invitation, you'll like grind out the mobs forever, and you can be one of the first people to do it in the queue. And it will just, pace things out like supply and demand, which is overall a good thing. And it wouldn't totally make sense if you got an invitation back in Miss Pandaria, didn't really play, not super familiar with your class, and you could just sort of go into the Brawlers Guild and just keep wiping on the rank 1 first
Yeah.
boss and leave. So it's just, like a reset, like every time you have to go do your heroics again and, grind up your professions and your rep and get back to the Brawlers Guild. Um, there's an artifact power question, which I feel I should just redirect them to your interview, which is why isn't artifact power or at least artifact knowledge account wide? And we don't actually know, but Panzer did a video asking a lot of these questions just a few days ago. So
Like, listen.
you can hear her talk about that for like a whole half hour.
I'm sorry. I got really listen.
I watched the whole thing.
I
It was
had
good.
a lot of points. Some of them weren't. People were like, when I talked about the first thing and I was like, this seems unfair, they were like, how do you think this is unfair? I'm like, well, I personally don't think it's unfair because I play a shaman. but I can see how other people would. But I don't know. I just kind of compiled other people's, like everybody's complaints, I guess. And artifact knowledge isn't account wide, but in 7.1.5 you will be able to buy the tomes.
You can get to 15 pretty easily.
You can get to 15 pretty easily, which is I think I'm at like 14 now. So really, that's a lot. Like getting up to 15 is huge. That's dropping like
Yeah.
I want to say that makes your artifact the big ones will be like 12,000. So
Right.
I don't know. Once that comes out, it won't be that bad. It won't be bad.
Yeah. Just a silly one. Someone's like, "Oh, it's raining in California. Like, are you happy, perk?" And yeah, I'm
Do you
really
want me
happy.
to put the
Like,
camera out the window because I have 8 inches of snow. It snowed 8 inches
oh,
today.
okay. Now I'm sad again because I'm like, I miss snow, but I guess rain is okay. I still just miss weather in general. And
Even in New York City, you have no idea. I live in Rochester. Like
now I know, like when I visited
Oh,
Buffalo
yeah.
for Christmas last year,
Mhm.
like it's like, oh, the flight's just delayed because it's snowing again.
Yeah,
Have fun.
again,
Just come back
again.
tomorrow, fly out.
Yeah, I'm going to Paris in February, and like I just
Nice.
like, what were we thinking? Like it's gonna be horrible weather. Like we're gonna end up getting delayed in New York City forever. I guarantee
I
it.
mean, it's not the end. I mean, that's actually, I don't think that's the worst time because I thought over the summer it gets really hot and a lot of like the residents or the locals, they have like, longer vacations than the US. So you don't want to go and like
I just
like
hope we
large
don't get like
areas of historical
stranded
places
because of
are
a
shut down.
snowstorm. I
Yeah.
don't know what we were thinking.
The last question I have is any idea how much the WoW token will translate into US dollars when bought in game?
Don't know yet.
Yeah, we'd like to know.
I'd guess
And
$15.
yeah, one of our developers is all Gerard Auroras is the guy who does the WoW token info website with those little graphs.
Widowmaker's
So
husband confirmed. Sorry.
um so he is I'm sure he'll be on top of that doing all sorts of conversion charts and other fun things.
Yeah.
Once he knows what that is.
If I had to guess, it'll be between 10 and $15. It won't be 20 because the token is 20, and it translates to a monthly sub, which would be $15. So if I had to guess, it'll be 15. But because it'll be available in other games too, maybe they might do it less
Yep.
because of the convenience. I don't think it'll be less than 10 though.
Yeah.
It'll either be 10 or 15, I think.
Yeah. So yeah, that's all I have as far as questions will go. And yeah, I don't know when the next PTR build is. Hopefully not too soon after this, so I can fly to Thanksgiving in peace and our, show isn't outdated.
It'll be
Like,
snowy here.
oh, yeah, I could look outside at the snow as I eat Thanksgiving dinner, I guess.
Silently.
But yeah. So, yeah, we're not going to be doing a show this Friday because
Thanksgiving.
family stuff, vacation, traveling. But we're glad we did the show in between.
Yeah, the goal was
so
to
at least we had a fun
minimize.
show discussing like this huge dump of PTR
Yeah,
info.
it shouldn't be bad. So we will be back next, not Friday the 20. We won't be back on the 25th. We'll be back on December 2nd. Whoa, December 2nd. Where did the year go?
Whoa.
Where
I
did
know.
the year go? So we will be back on Friday, December 2nd at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you so much to everybody who came and joined us live today on this weird day, this weird time. We really appreciate it. If you would like to watch us again in the future, it's usually every Friday around 6 p.m. Eastern Time at twitch.tv/wowhead. And then later on, we upload the VOD to YouTube, youtube.com/wowhead, and embed it at wowhead.com. Thank you so much to everybody who is subscribed to us on Twitch and follows us on Twitch, follows us on YouTube, watches our videos, and a big thank you to everybody who subscribes to Wowhead Premium, which will remove all of your ads, and it also directly supports the site, which is amazing. So we are going to go for the time being, but hope that you have a wonderful time adventuring in the Broken Isles, and we will see you very soon. Have a great week, guys. Happy Thanksgiving if you're from the U.S., and we'll see you soon, guys. Bye.
Bye.